Welcome back to the Splinter Twins, everybody. I'm Kyle, that's Mark. And today, we're not going to talk about specific cards, but we do want to talk about and address our feelings about the Spider Man set. This isn't going to be like, well, we're not going to play the cards and we're boycotting WotC. But there is an amount of disappointment that we are not used to feeling about new sets. And it's not a Universes Beyond thing. I was hyped for Lord of the Rings. I was hyped for Final Fantasy, but this one I am struggling to do my pre-brews and think about what decks I'm going to play first and put on the channel. And I feel some kind of way about that. And I just wanted to talk to my brother, and hopefully you guys want to listen.
I really feel some kind of way about this set because we love Spider-Man. It's not about Spider-Man. It is everything around it. I really think, Kyle, that Spider-Man is catching all of the latent ill will. Like, it's just been piling up over and over again, whether you're mad about Universes Beyond, whether you're mad about the avalanche of sets. And I think for me, you talked about Final Fantasy, you talked about Lord of the Rings. The thing that I looked at, I was like, I don't think Spider-Man is magic. I think Final Fantasy can be magic. I think that's like 1 degree removed. I think Lord of the Rings can be magic. I think that's like 1 degree removed. Fallout, Warhammer, these are all things I can imagine on magic cards. This is a meme. This is a stupid meme. Like, Spider-Man is weird to be on magic cards. That doesn't make sense. What are we doing? And I think, like, this is the lightning rod. This is we could talk about design, we could talk about everything else, but it is really just you caught everyone's frustration, Spider-Man.
I don't want to take this out on the designers or any of the people that made these magic cards. I think there's plenty of cool cards in here, and I'm sure I'm going to have fun playing some of them. But I think we can boil down my complaints into, first and foremost, the schedule. I hate this. I hate this set being
Number
jammed
one.
in here. The thumbnail of this video probably is a picture of me in the timeline saying, I don't like this. I tried to give it a chance, and I'm like, oh, maybe we'll like the increased cadence. Final Fantasy, Edge of Eternities, Spider-Man, and Avatar The Last Airbender all being released 6 months apart
That's crazy.
it's stupid.
We are content creators. We thrive on new things. We invest more time and money into this game than 90% of people on Arena. And I can't handle this. I can't handle it. It cost me excitement for Edge of Eternities because I'm like, nothing matters, bro. It's all going to be different. Standard is completely different in a month. Like, don't even worry about it. Why invest in Limited? I felt like I was busy at work, and I felt the exact same way for Tarkir. I was so excited to jump into Limited, but like 2 weeks happened and I couldn't play for 2 weekends. And then I'm like, well, shit, that's like the whole thing. It's going in a minute, so like, don't even bother investing.
The decision behind all of this, because Spider-Man was clearly not intended to be a full standard release. It was obviously an Assassin's Creed like direct to modern or direct to commander set, and then that set shit the bed. The directive came down to make this a full standard legal set, and you can tell the wedging of it in the calendar is completely unnatural, and the actual content of the set is not even draftable. They have to create a new draft format to be able to facilitate drafting
I think
this
that
thing.
is so. I think that is so generous to call it a new draft format. Like, I know that's what they're pitching this. It's a cope. It's just pick two. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a new format. That's just a way to kind of make it work. And when it's not designed to be drafted, you can tell like these cards don't really like. It's like, look at Edge of Eternities. Look at even Final Fantasy, right? The archetypes make sense. You can kind of start to see how they might brew together. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't drafted it yet, but I think the draft experience for this is going to be unplayable, and that's why at the championships they're not doing this. They're not doing this set. They're going to go Edge of Eternities, even though it is literally day and date, like it should be the. And here we are.
I thought I would dislike some things in Final Fantasy, and overall I would say a fair criticism I have for Final Fantasy is that it was a little legendary specific.
Oh yeah.
But there were so many cards that were not legendary, that were fun, and that were flavorful. This card, like the first time I sat down to review every card in the set when spoiler season got done, I just got so aggravated with the designs because every card was a legendary Spider-Man. There was like, okay, this one's wearing a black suit and this one's from India and this one's Miles Morales. And it's just so samey. And every card is a legendary creature that costs between 2 and 5 mana. And every card has a million words of text on it that do things that don't matter for standard and are, little threads that you can pull to build a commander deck. And I don't give a shit.
Commander is, commander cards are designed, and you can choose to play them in standard, I guess, right? Like that's the meme, but that's the truth. It is a real problem, and I really do feel like those like lingering bad vibes that you felt in Final Fantasy, that rumbly in your tumbly, is the chickens are coming home to roost. Is that the saying, right? Like, and I really think Spider-Man is
You
catching
mean the
it.
city pigeons?
The city pigeons are, yeah, the hot dog cart is coming to give you salmonella. It's just fucking dumb, man. And I really, what are your expectations for this, right? Because like Spider-Man is incredibly popular. It's incredibly popular. Is this going to be another thing where like a bunch of people are like, I don't want that in my Magic, and then Spider-Man sells $200 million in one day? Like, is this really going to be a flop like people are kind of predicting?
No, it won't be a flop. It'll
Yeah.
sell on the speculative value of the IP alone. It will not do Final Fantasy numbers. It probably won't do Lord of the Ring numbers. And that is because I don't like this is capital I, capital P IP. This is not an underserved community base that is so excited to like you can be if Final Fantasy is a large umbrella, but like I'm a fan of Final Fantasy 9 and I played that game 20 years ago sitting on the floor on PlayStation 1 with you. Not like I got a lot. I didn't go to the movies to watch Final Fantasy 9. I
In
can't go down
fact,
to
we went to the movies to watch Final Fantasy Spirits Within, hoping it would be Final Fantasy 9, and it was not.
Twas not. I didn't go to the movie theater and see Spider-Man hanging out with the or Final Fantasy hanging out with the Avengers. I didn't go to my local comic book store. There's just so many ways to consume the IP that is Spider-Man, and the idea of having it on a Magic card is not interesting and is not new and is not exciting.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally like how many card games have existed over the past 50 years with Spider-Man on them? Like a lot. You could play Marvel Snap right now if you wanted to. Do we make anything like is it just an own goal that there's the whole digital paper thing? Because I realized like
Oh
we
yeah.
just talked about our top 5 videos, and if you're playing those on Arena, like all the card names mean nothing to you. There's not even like, oh, you know how like the Godzilla cards and you could see the name. Like who knows what the Soulstone is card? Like drop it in the chat if you're one of the people that know that it's called like Terminus at the End or whatever. I don't
Are
even know
those
the
even
name.
available? Can you see somewhere?
They've just released like the first two. Like they showed you like what they will look like, and they're just it's also crazy because they're just like one of them is called Kraza Spider Swarm or whatever, and he still is like he's a reprint of I think Spider Punk, and it's like still a legendary spider hero. And so you're like, what is that gonna be? These cards are gonna look like ass. They're not gonna make
Yeah.
any sense on Arena. And like, I thought that was just like people being noodly, and then I saw those two cards and thought about like what this is gonna be like on Arena, and the fact that spoiler season has been one thing, and then the Arena experience is gonna be different. I'm just like, oh, actually, maybe that is gonna be a big deal.
Or, God forbid you're trying to attract new players, which is always the argument for, and they go download Arena and then none of those cards are there.
It just feels like is this short-sighted as it feels like can it be like
Yes.
you can wring the Final Fantasy money out, but like let's say next year the exact same time they release Final Fantasy Part 2, does that make $100 million on day one instead of
Yeah.
$200 million?
It's
Like
diminishing
how much?
returns.
But like how fast? Because it feels like just vibes, and this is just the people bitching on Reddit because like I really don't know what this is gonna sell, but just the vibe here feels like that time is now, and people are just I just have this vision that is totally probably going to be disproven because just the wave of Spider-Man fans there are. But I just feel like the set's not going to sell. I feel like it's going to be a bomb, and I kind of want it to. I feel like that's part of the thing. All the YouTube people, all the Reddit people bitching. Like, I think they kind of want this. There's like a rooting for it to fail because they're just so sick of the cadence. They're so sick of the UB. They're so sad to think like, oh, I guess we're just done with Magic for the year, and we'll just have this like guest star thing happening. I think, and that's wild to have like your core audience be like, I kind of fucking hope this just dicks it in the dirt right now so we don't have to see this shit anymore. But that's honestly how I feel. I honestly kind of hope this set just completely fucking fails.
Yeah. I mean, that's where I'm at. I hope that
Which is
there
wild.
are lessons that are learned about release cadence, about appropriate IPs for Magic. Like, this was a thought I had the other night, right? I would rather have a K-pop Demon Hunter Magic the Gathering set than Spider-Man.
Just put
Like
it on
from a flavor
Kamigawa.
flavor standpoint,
Yeah,
I
sure.
think it probably works better. Like, and I'm not saying there's
Probably.
not magic in Spider-Man. I know that there is, but from the recognizability and the fact that like this is about a superhero from like fighting crime in New York, and it is just so jarring and so weird, and it just there's no web slinging mechanic. This is not an argument about like, oh, actually, I think Peter Parker's not Bant. I think he's Mardu because of like, what are we doing?
You know how sometimes you watch a movie and you can't not see the actor? I
That's
can't
what
not
this
see
is.
Spider Man. I look at that and I'm like, the Spider Man. What are we doing here? I thought we were
Yeah,
playing Magic. Now I'm doing Spider Man. I didn't.
I
This isn't a
was I
Spider
was
Man
thinking
time.
about that. I'm like, for Final Fantasy, and I think part of the point too is, well, I was like, okay, well, it's just gonna look like Cloud on a Magic card. No, it looks like a Magic card, and I think part of that is
Got a big
because
sword. He looks like an anime character. It's, magic-y.
even with the reboots, like he's not that exposed. There's just not that much visibility on arguably the most famous protagonist in Final Fantasy history. But Spider-Man is so ubiquitous
Yeah.
that it will always look like, and then the same thing, like I'm talking like Kefka, I'm talking like Kuja, I'm talking even Vivi. They look like magic cards. I've been staring for 2 weeks now at Spider-Man spoilers, and no matter what I do, they just look like fan-made magic cards.
Yeah.
They look
That's
like some
actually really
they
interesting.
look like something a really talented person knocked up on Reddit and was like, "Hey, check these out." Like they
What
don't look
if
official. They look like, the Mardu Commander Batman that we've probably all seen on the Reddit that gets shared. It just looks like that. And I don't think there's any amount of time that's going to stop it from looking like that.
yeah, it's an odd thing, but I think if I had to boil it down, I would say I could forgive a lot. Just me personally. And let's do my number one gripe and your number one gripe, just to kind of put a pin on this. I would forgive a lot if we just had a little more time. It's really, to me, it's all about the cadence. Like everything else around it is like I could deal with it. I can figure it out. Like we've played with Universes Beyond, we can kind of figure it out. If we had 3 months in between sets, I can deal. I can deal with the fact that this is some kind of weird bastard son of a big score and an aftermath had a baby with a real set, whatever. I can deal with it, right? I can deal with the fact that there's not going to be limited. I can deal with the fact that there's Spider-Mans on my cards. I just can't deal with it at this pace. It's just too much. I don't have the wild cards. I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the brain power to track magic cards at this rate. And I'm sad for what it's doing to standard because standard's not meant to have pioneer level card numbers up in it. And it's fucking me up, man. I just can't.
Oh,
And
before
so,
I do my
yeah,
number one, I just have to say, like, the number of rares and mythics in this set is absurd.
obscene. Yeah, especially relative to the size of it. It's only like 180 cards, right? So it's like 100 cards less than a normal set, and like the proportion of rares and mythics is
Designed to, it feels like a scam.
it feels
Like
like it's a
if,
wild card milking operation.
yeah, for arena, and then it feels like you're gonna have to open a billion
Yeah,
D packs to get the one rare that you want.
you are gonna see a lot of the same commons and uncommons in those packs.
Yeah, and you're just like, eh. My biggest gripe, I like scheduling is up there, but I think ultimately it's about suitability for what I want to see in Magic. And it's not about popularity, and it's not about my particular demo. I'm not the world's biggest Final Fantasy fan. I like Final Fantasy, but I think 10-2 was the last Final Fantasy, well, minus Rebirth. I think Avatar will work better. I think Final Fantasy worked. I think Lord of the
I don't
Rings
know, man.
worked.
I feel like
But
with Spider-Man, you can at least play with like a lot of different animation styles, you know? So like Spider-Punk can look a kind of way, and the Avatar looks like Avatar. You know,
Yeah.
there's gonna be a
So
lot of Avatar ass looking cards on there, and I guess they could get like abstract. You know, like you do some sort of stuff with the spirit world or whatever. I fucking love Avatar. I one of my top shows of all time. Love
he doesn't
it.
mean animated people. He means shows.
Yes, literally, yes. It is one of the greatest shows of all time. It is a true masterpiece. Avatar: The Last Airbender is beautiful. I love Korra. I love Avatar. I love the comics. I love all of it. I don't want to see it on Magic cards, so I don't really
Yeah.
want to see
I
Sokka throw a
I don't
boomerang.
I don't want this to be about Avatar: The Last Airbender because I want to judge that set
Yeah, fair.
when it comes out on its own merits.
But
But
it is the first time we're getting back to back universes beyond, and I think that has something to do with it too, where it's just like, oh, we're not going from Spider-Man to Lorwyn to Avatar. We're going from Spider-Man to Avatar to I'll see you when I see you, push Lorwyn. I'll see you when I see you, magic cards. That
yeah,
I think also has something to do with it.
I would just say the suitability of cards I want to see in Magic is not an easy. What is popular and what do I like? I love Star Wars. After this experience really don't think I before right after Final Fantasy. If you would have asked me at final pre-release weekend at Vegas at the Magic Con, do you think they could do a Star Wars set that you would like it? I would have said then absolutely. I think it can be done. Now I've gone from confident to I doubt it.
They could. I mean, some of the design stuff is like really quite incredible. Like the flavor capturing on some of these Final Fantasy cards. Like, given the time, I bet they could do it, right?
Yeah,
And
maybe.
like if they made it a commander deck, like they did with some of the Warhammer stuff or Doctor Who, I would love it. I would
Actually,
love
I
it.
think they could have just a standard set for Warhammer. The arguing Universes Beyond is not going away, and the arguing about what property can and can't make a Universes Beyond set is probably just infinitely regressive and stupid. The example is like you have to look at the set on its own merits and decide whether or not they did that. And I would say for Spider-Man, they did not.
I think this proves the list just got shorter, right? Like we'll see what the numbers say in terms of like the financial rewards, but I don't get that money, so I don't give a shit. I think as far as like the fans, and I think we can kind of speak from that perspective. I think this proves to me the list of acceptable IPs is actually a lot shorter than I maybe thought like 6 months ago. Where I'm like, ooh, and I think we've already done quite a bit of them in terms of like, I think you can just, for me, this feels like we can just lop off the whole superhero genre. Like, I don't know what superhero I want to see in Magic cards, but I don't think it's any right now. And so we'll see, like maybe Avatar proves that like anime or anime adjacent stuff can get up in here, but maybe it'll prove just the opposite, right? Like I feel like there's only so many things in that inner touching magic sphere that we really want to tolerate here.
If you're excited about Spider-Man, I don't want to take that
Cool.
away from you. Like
Yeah.
that's great. That's awesome and I hope you have a blast with it. And I hope that like, that you get as much joy of it as possible. I just don't see the design of these cards and all of the all the decisions that were just confounding about this set making it an enjoyable product for me. I will not be going to pre-release for it. I am certain I will not draft it in person, and I doubt I'll be queuing up for any drafts on Arena unless, you know, unless Paul Cheon and Luis Scott Vargas hold a joint press conference to declare this is the unequivocally greatest limited format of all time.
Yeah.
And I
Or
don't
good.
think
I'd take good.
I
Feel
don't
like, hey,
know
it's
if
good actually.
I don't know
I'd
if I'm
take
going to
that.
be brewing a lot of decks for the channel with these
Yeah.
cards. I might. Maybe I'm kind of excited about some of my top 5, but I think it's probably likely that I'm just going to go back and explore more Edge of Eternity's cards.
Yeah. Well, also, the VV of it all. So
Yeah.
it's going to be really rough. I think another thing that we have to say just before we dip out, the fact that there's going to be 2 sets in a row that have been eclipsed by one S tier deck also hangs like a heavy cloud over Spider-Man, right? Because it's just like, hey, Spider-Man, with your small set and your weird commander design, you going to do anything for standard? Probably not. And so, that'll be interesting to sort of see how that impacts it. And if it doesn't, we'll all but confirm a ban for VB here on November 24th. So there's that.
Okay.
Let us know. What do you guys think about Spider-Man? Are we too optimistic? Are we just being old boomers yelling at clouds? What's your deal? Are we just jumping on the bandwagon of all the Spider-Man hate? Like, what do you think? Like, help set us straight. But we still love Magic. We wish we get some more Magic up in here. But we will talk to you guys in the next one.
That was cathartic. Oh, that's not the stop recording button. That's the stop recording button. That was cathartic.